Great, thank you for coming. So today we're going to talk about games marketing for the sophisticated buyer. You guys are all part of the monetize, retain, and acquire track. And what we're here to do is hopefully expose some key things to pay attention to when you're looking to understand what these users are doing inside of your app. So next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Oh, go back. All right, here you go. So it's probably not a surprise that people love mobile gaming. This is eMarketer stat from last year. It shows mobile phone gaming penetration. It shows by 2019, 77% of the people will say, yes, I do play mobile games on my smartphone. Now, obviously, we're all part of the gaming community, and it's not just about making an amazing game if you're not able to actually understand what these users are doing within this game and what it's going to take to actually move them through the funnel and make them a loyal user. So what we do at AppsFlyer, we sit on a lot of data. Okay, so we have this a gaming performance index coming out on July 7th. And there's a preview slide from that gaming performance index. What we saw and what we did was we measured $300 million worth of in-app transactions from all the gaming apps that have the AppsFlyer SDK enabled in it. And that included over 1,000 apps with in-app activity, in-app purchase activity, excuse me, across 100 million plus unique users, and we looked at 30 million purchase events. And actually what we found was quite surprising. We saw that overall, the average in-app purchase for all users was 61 cents per user, but in the gaming category, it was actually only 38 cents. So that's a very surprising stat. Now, if you look at the average purchase across 365 days on the last bar chart, you'll see that for overall the average is about $8.68, but for gaming again it was only $6.17. So what does this tell us? It tells us that the gaming community specifically needs to do a little bit better to actually monetize and understand what their users are doing so they actually get them to purchase more. But it's a crowded ecosystem, right? Accountability, comparability, and trust. What does that mean? As you're looking to all of your media sources, all your partners that you're working with, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or Google, you're going to need a third-party, unbiased kind of monitoring system that essentially is helping you understand what you're getting and you're making sure that you're getting what you're paying for. With AppsFlyer, we have over 1,900 ad networks that we're integrated with, including Google, Facebook, and Twitter. We're official partners of them. We also are the only beta partner for Pinterest. So although initially Pinterest was only focusing on the retail and e-commerce vertical, they basically have made the position that they're also going to open it up to gaming companies, right? So there's actually great opportunities there to discover new users. Snapchat is another, obviously they've been getting a lot of momentum. And they actually launched their ads API not too long ago. We're part of that their early marketing partners. And what we're seeing with Snapchat is actually pretty interesting. With Snapchat, you have to kind of give them your all. What I mean by that is that it's going to take about $100,000 to actually get into Snapchat to actually run campaigns with them. And there's going to be no targeting, which is pretty surprising. So what they're saying is, trust us, we know our users, and let us actually do the optimization for you. Now, obviously, again, that takes a lot of trust, but you can do that if you're working with a reliable attribution partner like AppsFlyer. So with us, since we're integrated with them directly, we're able to see what the activities are. We have the user level data that's going to make it easy for you to understand what these guys are worth from an average revenue per user standpoint, also from a loyalty percentage for each user that's actually being acquired through Snapchat. In the perfect world, your app icon would be this big on a user's phone. It's not a perfect world, and you have to work really, really hard to actually get that mind share. Now, Sophisticated buyers, they demand complete transparency from media partners. We want you guys to be able to track the ROI and LTV for each user across every media source, especially the big three, right? Facebook, Twitter, and Google. With Facebook, that also includes Instagram. So within the AppsFlyer integration with Facebook, besides just getting the attribution data, you're also able to get click, cost, and impression data, which is very key. If you're able to get, obviously, the cost data, you're able to back out into a CPI or an average revenue per user. You're also able to post back events back to Facebook for some lookalike audience targeting and matching. With Twitter, we're their official partner as well as with Google. Google, we recently became a cost partner with them, so now we're able to pull in the cost data from Google into your AppsFlyer dashboard to help give you that granular insight. So you're doing less of jumping from dashboard to dashboard. You're more so actually using this data to create actionable insights. Now, a sophisticated buyer is going to act on rich in-app events in real time. What's a rich in-app event? Well, what's an in-app event? An in-app event is anything that occurs within your app, whether like a purchase, for example. A rich in-app event would actually give you more context to that purchase. Maybe the currency was that the user paid in, the item that it was. So all these in-app events are essentially happening in your app in real time, but we always suggest that you guys act on setting up your rich in-app events. Setting up rich in-app events at the beginning is going to pay off down the line. You're going to measure detailed user acquisitions, and here's an example of exactly how it's going to work. We receive the data, it's sent back to posted back to the partners, and then that's going to help enable advanced audience targeting campaigns like lookalike and retargeting. Retargeting obviously is crucial, especially after users have gone dormant. What you're going to want to do is look at that user level data, run these retargeting campaigns, and hopefully re-engage them to come back into the app. So you're going to be looking at things like your retention report. Retention report is something retention and cohort analysis is something that comes out of the box with the AppsFlyer SDK. Makes it really easy for you to understand the quality of these users. With retention, we're going to give you your organic baseline, and then we're going to give you the retention from your other media partners to see, kind of have a comparable. Again, sophisticated buyers are going to make informed media buying decisions. This is a very interesting slide. It's going to show you the ad network power rankings for gaming, specifically for iOS apps. And you kind of see, maybe there's no surprise at number one, but if you look at the other partners and kind of see where Google falls, it gives you an idea of essentially which ad networks are driving high retention and also high velocity for installs. There obviously are some incentivized networks there like Tapjoy and the video incentivized ad network like Supersonic, but ultimately, what we're trying to do with our gaming performance index is give you guys almost a cheat sheet and almost a heads up so that you guys can essentially know where to look for your users initially by using these rankings. And here are the rankings for Android. Again, some surprises. Google moves from 5 on iOS to number 2 for Android. Tapjoy moves up to the top. But ultimately, Facebook is still number 1. They drive about 40% of all the installs across the world. So, they're obviously someone that you're going to want to start with initially, but there's a lot of quality to be found across these other partners. So we have our upcoming data reports. On July 7th, we have the State of In-App Spending report coming out, and then on July 13th, we have our Global Performance Index. What we really want to highlight here is, 1, pay attention to retention. 2, focus on setting up your rich in-app events. And 3, focus on which ad networks are actually driving that quality so you can actually learn, you can actually re-engage those similar users with lookalike targeting. I did not put this there, but yes, let's make attribution great again. Cool, so now we're gonna open up for some questions. We got about 10 minutes, or 5 minutes, excuse me. Does anyone have any questions related to attribution or any of the information that they saw up on the slides? Yeah.
So we've seen digital driving that, but what outside of digital is helping to drive acquisition?
Television. So with AppsFlyer, we have a TV attribution product. What it does, it allows us to ingest your actual TV, cable, local broadcast plan into the platform. And what you'll do is you'll actually set the attribution window. We recommend about 30 minutes after it's actually after the commercial or the spot has ran, and then we're going to basically turn all those users who've actually acquired or installed within that particular region, within that particular DMA, we're going to actually convert them to organic, and then you're going to have what we call inside of AppsFlyer your aggregated performance report. So on that report, you're going to have an apples-to-apples comparison because you'll see, Facebook, Google, Twitter, email, and then you'll see TV, and you'll have a comparable, and you'll be able to see, all right, I have a higher loyalty rate from Facebook versus TV, but TV users are actually, triggering a tutorial first, or they're triggering more registrations. So that's one source that's not mobile, not digital. It's a completely different source. So TV, I know you guys have seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger commercials, Kate Upton. And it's not that expensive. I think that's one thing that people think about. I actually used to be a traditional media buyer in New York City many, many years ago. And you can get really, really great, cheap spots, for a couple $100 a day. And it will move the needle when it comes to actual UA for your app or your game.
So the same video ad you create for mobile, you can utilize for TV as well, too?
You could. You can use, on TV they have 15s and 30s and they have 60s. I would probably focus more on the 15s and 30s. We also have an integration with Shazam. I know you guys have heard of Shazam. Originally, it was like you hold up your phone to, a source of audio, and it would detect that audio, and it would play. They actually have a product that is also integrated with AppsFlyer that basically allows you to do the same thing with your phone. Hold up a TV spot, let's say it's your gaming spot, and then the audio from that spot will then trigger an app install. Simply by just holding up your device to your TV set. So again, there's a lot of different channels, and there's a lot of really cool things that people are trying to do to actually, like I said before, find new sources of traffic. Yes, Facebook's kind of like the behemoth, but there are pockets of quality all around you. You just got to know where to look, and you got to work with the right people that are going to kind of make these suggestions for you. Any other questions?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you guys make money?
How do we make money? Well, we don't make a lot of money, so maybe you'll want to, that's a good thing. We charge pennies on the install for each non-organic install that we track. What do I mean by that? Okay, so there's two types of installs in AppsFlyer's world. There's organic and non-organic. Organic simply means we don't know the source of it, so therefore we're not going to charge you because we don't know where it came from. That's going to fall into your organic bucket. It also means any installs that fall outside of an attribution window. I'm going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but just bear with me. What's an attribution window? That's the amount of time that you're giving a user to essentially launch your app after they've been acquired from a particular media source. On average, it's 7 days. So basically what we're saying is, hey, for example, Tapjoy, we're giving all the users from Tapjoy up to 7 days to launch their app, to launch your app. Otherwise, if they don't do it within the 7-day window, it's going to fall into the organic bucket, and Tapjoy is not going to get any credit for it. So what we do, we charge on non-organics. So all the users who have come from Tapjoy, for example, who launch within that 7-day window, will charge anywhere from 0.005 cents to 3 cents, depending on where you are in terms of your tier. And that's essentially how we make money. We do not charge for clicks, to track your clicks, your impressions, access to our APIs, access to retention, cohort analysis, to have a customer success person be on your team. All that stuff is basically baked into that very small cost.
So follow-up question, do you have an attribution window for download separate from launching the app, or is that all bundled together?
So an app,
7 days is a long time, right?
exactly. What's your normal pattern of behavior? You download an app, you install it, and you open it right away. So giving someone 7 days to open your app is actually quite a long time. And the question was, do we differentiate between downloads and app opens? We only launch want to charge you when someone opens your app. That to us means that they essentially installed. If someone simply downloads the app and never launches, we would actually not count that as an install at all. We only count the install when it actually is opened. Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, just to follow up
Sure.
from that one. Do you have a minimum media buy?
So we are not an ad network. What we do is we help you measure your ad. Basically, we help your ad network partners stay true to what they're telling you. How do we do that? Well, there's obviously, you're going to integrate the AppsFlyer SDK. Once you integrate the AppsFlyer SDK, that's going to allow us to basically see all the traffic that comes into your app, and then we're going to obviously tell you where it's coming from. So, no, we don't, obviously we don't have a minimum spend. You can actually start with, just sign up with a credit card similar to Google AdWords, and, we can start tracking all of your all of your campaigns. We also have a product called OneLink, which is a deep linking product. Deep linking is obviously pretty important. It gives a lot of context to a click, right? So if you are, for example, let's say you're a small gaming studio and you have a list of 1,000 emails, and you say, hey, I know these 1,000 emails, I know they actually registered for my app, and I know for a fact that they have the app, but I have this new level that I want to tell them about. So you send this email blast. The email blast has great creative. It's all about this new level. You're really excited about it. And what we're going to do there is that we're going to have a link that you will actually build inside of AppsFlyer that's going to help you track the performance of that email. And what that link is going to do also is going to deep link that user into that particular new level or into that new feature or whatever it is that email was all about in the first place, which actually got them excited and caused them to click. So there's a lot of different sources of traffic. A lot of them aren't always going to be an integrated partner like an ad network. Sometimes this could be your own endemic user base, or it's going to be something that is non-traditional like a blog post or a social media post on Twitter. AppsFlyer has the ability to track all that traffic and also let you know beyond the install what actually is occurring, which in-app events are triggering, what their loyalty rate, and all these other amazing insights that are going to help essentially grow your gaming and grow your user base. Yes, in the back.
Excuse me, about the one link, can the content of the link be customizable?
Yes, so you can add, there's an unlimited number of parameters that you can add to that link. For example, some of our gaming clients have a unique customer ID that they like to append to the end of that link, so it's easier for them to deterministically understand what who this user is. But yes, you can add. There's specific. I don't want to go too deep, but there's specific, just very simple parameters you can add to the end of that link that can make it customizable.
Okay, I'm just wondering about the name, because sometimes, or most of the time, the link content has nothing to do with the game or other applications. So I'm wondering if we can put our name on the link directly.
You can. So you're basically asking if you can create a vanity URL deep link.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. For example, HBO obviously is not a gaming client, but HBO, they have a certain level of trust that their brand has created. So they don't want it to say, onelink.com / whatever. They want it to say hbo.com / Game of Thrones episode 2,
yeah,
season
exactly.
5, episode 2. The answer is yes. There's a specific set of instructions. Are you an AppsFlyer customer by any chance?
Yeah.
Perfect. I was like, this is a very specific question.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be happy to talk to you about it further after.
Okay.
So yes, in my previous role at AppsFlyer, yes, I'm head of gaming now in North America, but I also headed up the customer success team. So I've seen a lot of the issues that you guys face, especially around fraud. Fraud is a very hot topic right now. We don't try to be everything to everyone. We just focus on attribution and analytics. We work with amazing partners like Forensic and DataVisor who do fraud. That's what they focus on is fraud, and that's what they're really good at. Companies like Lean Plum and AppBoy, they're part of the AppsFlyer ecosystem, so all of our systems talk to each other in a seamless way. So it makes it really easy for you to just work with who you want to work with. And AppsFlyer's headquarters are in Tel Aviv. It is an Israeli company, but when it comes to what we do, we like to think of ourselves more like Switzerland. Just kind of want to be like this happy middle and let you work with who you want to work with. Any other questions? Yes.
So over your years of doing this, what are game studios still doing stupidly over and over and over that you've seen?
Not using an attribution provider. And I'm not saying us, I'm just saying in general. There's 5 of us in the world that do what we do because there's only 5 of us that are in Facebook's mobile measurement program, which allows us to get user level data from Facebook. So yeah, that's the first step is one, do your homework. There's a lot of unbiased groups that you can actually join to ask these very particular questions. One of them is Mobile Dev Memo, Eric Suford's group. He used to run UA for Rovio. He's a good friend of mine, and he has a Slack channel that's all for people like us who have these questions and don't want a sales answer, don't want a sales guy to jump in there and kind of take over the thread. We can actually get meaningful responses and replies from people who are just like you guys. Again, but that's probably the number one mistake is trying to go at it alone, and then you're spending all this money, and then what ends up happening is your CEO or your CMO is like, hey, we're throwing cash at this, but we haven't moved in the App Store, or our ranking has stayed the same. And you don't have any question, you don't have any answers from because you don't have that user level data. So again, yes, we are, this very small barnacle on this very big whale. But at the end of the day, you definitely need an attribution provider to be successful, especially nowadays as things are becoming more sophisticated and the climate's just becoming more competitive.